And I wanted to start by thanking all of you for coming to share your Saturday morning with all of us here. And happy Earth Day. Today is Earth Day, believe it or not. And I really cannot think of a better day to spend with my neighbors talking about the great things that are happening in our community and talking about ways that we can work together to make our community more sustainable and more resilient. It's Earth Day, so I'm going to go the extra mile a little bit for our planet's environment. And even though I'm a politician and it may be difficult, but I'm really going to take all the hot air out of the speech, if you will, in honor of Earth Day. But seriously, you know, we started this event 4 years ago in my second year as mayor. And I have to say, it's really become one of my favorite events. Our city council meetings are obviously very important, and our grand openings and our ribbon cuttings are exciting. But connecting with you, my neighbors, is really what drives me every day. Addressing the very topics that impact our city and our daily lives, living here in Tempe. That's really what's personally that really inspires me to work to continue to move our great city forward. And I think it's safe to say that you're probably here today, and that's why you're here today, to connect with your neighbors, to learn about what's happening in the city of Tempe, and maybe find out what you can do or what else you can do to make a difference. You know, you might be one of those individuals whose leadership in our city will be recognizing here today. You know, our shared goal is that we want to keep Tempe strong. We want to build a resilient city where we can go to work, raise our families, and have fun. The things that we have to keep up with the changing times, we always have to keep up with the changing times. We have to adapt to our community, our environment, and our city will continue to evolve. It's critical that we do make the necessary investments to evolve in our city now. We have to make those investments now to make us better for decades to come. We need to do the work that is going to come up to keep our city safe and strong. And we need to come up with the innovative solutions to ensure that Tempe is prepared for future challenges. And finally, we really do need to do all of this with an open mind, to live inspired and to be part of this change. Here's the thing. I know you can feel discouraged when you think about everything that's really going on today in politics, or you may even feel like no matter what you do, it doesn't make a difference. I've actually felt that way before. But when I started to feel that sense of discouragement, I catch myself. I take a step back. I take a look at the incredible city that we live in. I think about all the work that the city has done to provide the highest quality of life possible for our residents. And on top of that, I think of all the incredible residents that I talk to every day. And I think of all of you, my neighbors. From the small business owners like the Vasquez family, who recently celebrated the 30th anniversary of their business, Sombreros. Now, come on, who likes Sombreros? I mean, Sombreros is a great institution. You know, growing up here, you know, they just celebrated the 30th anniversary. And, you know, it's individuals like the Vasquez family, the small business, to leaders of our faith community like Pastor Des Wadsworth of Grace Community Church, to our amazing neighborhood leaders. And how could I not mention our incredible city staff that works tirelessly to help maintain and keep our city running every day. You know, I come back to thinking about the work that our Vice Mayor, Arredondo Chavez, says and what she has done to help make our parks adaptable to accommodate the children in Tempe with disabilities, or to get our youth better prepared for their college Connect program. I think about the work that Councilmember Keating is doing to empower the homelessness in our city, to help them find the work to get the services they need. And I think about Councilmember Kuby's work to bring an element of sustainability to nearly everything we do. And also, especially now that she's helped get our amazing sustainability manager, Braden Kay, on board with us. Where's Braden? Braden's our new sustainability manager. And he's on our team. We're really trying to make a difference. And council members Navarro and Shapiro are working to bring the arts to our neighborhoods through the Arts Parks program, which, by the way, the applicants are due on May 1st, so make sure you talk to some of our city staff to get more information on the arts in the parks before you leave. And Councilmember Granville and Shapiro have worked to create a little library rebate program to bring little libraries to our neighborhoods. We're even getting a national recognition for this program by the Little Free Library Organization. All of these pieces of our city matter. They all contribute to the strength of our community that really does make Tempe special. And the bottom line is that change is inspired locally. Together, we can shape the future of what we want to see our city and in our neighborhoods. It's driven by the real members of our community who live and work here every day. It's people like the Vasquez family and the Pastor Des and our neighborhood leaders and our city employees. And what better time for that change than now? Now is always the best time to take action, to check on how we're doing things and to make sure that we're headed in the right direction together. So going back to our Earth Day celebration, and because we're talking about community involvement and what we want to see in our community, I'd like to pose a few challenges to all of you. I'd like to talk about what we can do together that will contribute to Tempe's resiliency, to ensuring that we're headed in the right direction of building a city that is sustainable well beyond our lifetimes. So the first challenge I'd like to pose is to invest in your home, in your neighborhoods, and in our city. These investments can look a little bit different for all of us. They can be tailored to our passions, our interests, or even our own needs. It may be that you start participating in Tempe's Pilot Green Organics program. It can mean installing a low-flow toilet and taking advantage of the toilet rebate program. It might even simply mean investing in the time it takes to rinse out that plastic soup container so that it can be recycled. All of these little investments we make in our homes, in our parks, in our city facilities, they may seem simple, but they really do start to pay off in the long term. This is why the city of Tempe, we are making those critical investments now, that we are having significant impacts later that will really benefit all of us. We're investing in our parks, we're investing in our infrastructure and in our neighborhoods to build Tempe into a city that's not only strong today, but also for many years to come. And on that note, you may have noticed a slight change in the street lighting in your neighborhood. That's because the council approved a citywide investment to replace the traditional bulbs in our streetlights to LED bulbs. This change not only offers softer and brighter lights, but it also makes our neighborhoods safer. But they're also substantially more efficient, saving the city's thousands in electricity costs every year. But we're not only working to reduce the amount of electricity we use, we're also working to generate more clean energy to reduce the city's carbon footprint. Last month, I was proud to celebrate the opening of the city's largest investment in our solar power generation at the Johnny G. Martinez water treatment plant. This new solar infrastructure will save the city more than $530,000 in utility costs over 20 years, and it gets us halfway to our goal of powering 20% of our city operations from renewable energy sources by 2025. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention and thank SRP, as we all know they're one of our sponsors here today, who really helped make this solar project possible. And we're grateful for their partnership as we work together to meet our new renewable energy goals. And it's not only about efficiency and electricity. We're moving forward with the Tempe Streetcar Project, which will add much needed transportation to our city and expand our already comprehensive public transportation network. Transportation projects like this have to start somewhere, and it takes a long time to become a reality. The first phase is just the beginning, and I look forward to that day that we can expand it all the way out to Mesa. I always say expand it to Wrigleyville West, to really bring that more connectivity between our cities as well as throughout our region. There's no question this would be a great addition to our city for our residents and our visitors alike. So think about it cumulatively. These tweaks on how we do things have a significant impact to all of us. It all matters, everything from changing a light bulb to building new transportation infrastructure. That brings me to our second challenge. Get involved. Obviously, you guys are involved because you wouldn't be here today, but continue to get involved. We can dream all day about the great things that we want for our city, but we do need all of your help. We need you to help us to work to bring others with you. The sustainability and resiliency of our city isn't only about recycling and renewable energy. It's about having an active and engaged community that cares about your neighbors, that cares about our community programs, that cares about the improvements of our city infrastructure and our neighbors. And it cares about everything that we do for each other, because you can't build Tempe that we all want without your input as well as your participation. This is why I often say neighborhoods are the cornerstone of our community. That was when I grew up in when I grew up here, right by Meyer Park. It is the cornerstone. Everything I did as a kid was at my neighborhood park and my neighborhood school. And it's so important that our neighborhoods are the cornerstone of our community. And we also need to continue to have those engaged environment communities that really will help keep Tempe strong. And I know the fact that you're all here today, as I mentioned, means probably that you're one of those individuals who are involved. But maybe it's time to engage your neighbors, your friends, right down the street that they live from you. It's also about teaching the culture of community involvement to our children, making sure that they're engaged in the public process as much as possible. I mean, by the time I was 5 years old, I'd probably been to more public meetings than some of our city staff. A great example of the neighborhood really turning a challenge into an innovative solution is Clark Park. I'm sure some of you remember Clark Park Pool because it was a real landmark when I was a kid growing up. I used to swim there and play Parks and Rec in that building there. And when Clark Park had some problems with their pool because of the substantial maintenance challenges that Clark Park Pool had. And that came at a time when funding really wasn't available for us. We didn't have the funding and the resources to repair these issues. So we talked to our neighbors. We asked them, what would you like to see in this space? With overwhelming support from the neighborhood, we moved forward with closing the pool and building what I would argue is probably one of the coolest community gardens in our city. The neighbors came together and they worked with the city to get this project done. And now it really truly is a gathering place, not only for these neighbors, but it's a destination for Tempe. The transformation of Clark Park Pool has really brought an energy to a place that could have become an eyesore for this area. In fact, you might be able to catch a grilled cheese food truck that they usually have out there on your way home, but you probably want to get some fresh garden vegetables and some salad from that farmer's market. It's projects like the Clark Park Pool that make me so proud to be part of the Tempe community. And it's such a shining example of what we can accomplish when our citizens do get involved. And speaking of neighborhoods coming together with the city, Victory Acres is a shining example of this as well. We were able to revitalize a number of their homes along with our community partners at ASU, the Ramsey Foundation and the Habitat for Humanity. Let me tell you, they look great and it's safer and more energy efficient. They really did a lot. From the new windows to the upgraded AC units to the fresh coats of paint, as well as the new landscaping for those homes. But the neighbors in Victory Acres could not have done it alone. And we couldn't do it without the neighbors or our community partners. This is one of those examples of a neighborhood coming together, getting involved, and really making a difference. You know, when we talk about or think about building a sustainable city, most people's minds tends to go to a few things: recycling, solar power, conserving water, and all those things are so important. But we also need to talk about how to build a resilient local economy, one that can withstand the fluctuations of the markets, one that can evolve with global economic trends. This brings me to our third challenge. Let's all work together to innovate, to bring together all of our ideas about how to shape the city we all want, and to come up with new innovative ways to implement them. Something I'm very proud of is that we have announced the addition of more than 28,000 jobs since 2012. 28,000 jobs. But they're good jobs from diverse industries like Northern Trust that just brought 1,000 jobs to the South Tempe at the Discovery Business Campus. And Chase Bank also plans to bring an additional 4,000 jobs to the same area. ADP just added 1,500 jobs to the former U.S. Airways building, and they actually have more employees than U.S. Airways did. And also we're adding smaller tech companies like ZipRecruiter that are flocking to our city. You may be asking yourself, how is this relevant to our neighborhoods? But the reality is it does have a real impact in our daily lives. A good example, when you came in today, I don't know if you saw, I mentioned Northern Trust. And we always, when companies come here, hey, we want you to live in Tempe, we want your employees to get involved. That's exactly what happened. Not only did Northern Trust give an endowment to the Tempe Center for the Arts for $7 million, they have employees that are giving back to the community and they want to get involved. Carol, I don't know where's Carol? Is she still here? She's probably out there volunteering. Carol is a good example of that. She works for she came from Chicago when Northern Trust came here. She lives in Tempe. She wanted to get involved. She met some city employees. She's involved with the Tempe Community Council. I saw her last night at the volunteer reception, and to see her here again, she's amazed at the community. It's all companies like Northern Trust, they want them, and we want them to get involved in our community. This is really truly as a shining example. And I mentioned before, the kind of diverse job bases ensure that we have a city that will thrive in the best of times as well as the challenging ones too. We can't be dependent on a specific sector to ensure that we will continue to provide the high quality of services that all of you expect and what you enjoy. We're also working to foster innovation for our city, both within our own operations at the city as well as the private sector. These two parts are mutually exclusive, but rather they work together hand in hand. A great example of this is repurposing the old Tempe Performing Arts Center into the incubator called Fabric, a fashion and business resource innovation center. That's right in downtown Tempe, we have a fully functioning fashion incubator in the heart of our downtown. And let me tell you, if you haven't seen it, it's pretty cool. And they're coming up with some great products and also offering some independent fashion designers the tools and the space that they need to make their designs a reality. It's also about innovating and expanding existing programs. And there's one that I'm very proud of, and I use sometimes myself. It's the Curbside Green Organics Pilot Program. We're working to shift as much waste as possible away from our landfills. And this program helps us do just that. The Green Organics programs takes things like branches, leaves, and even horse manure out of the trash and into a composting station where we can reuse it for plant food throughout the city. What's even better is that the compost produced stays local. It helps feed our plants, our parks, our public areas. We use this product in the green organic composting to keep our parks lush. And it's also important that they maintain to stay green. And as a Tempe resident, you get it for free. You can come by and pick it up for your own yard. And we're also even selling this product to residents from outside of Tempe. It's really become a real role model for the region. I think this is a great example of a sustainable solution that happens right in our own neighborhoods. By working together, we get a closer look at citywide recycling diversion programs that we're looking at, that we want 25% by 2020. We're getting close, but as always, we do need your help. Both in the blue bins with your glass and paper and plastic, and now with the green pilots, organics pilot programs. You can find out more information about this program when you can talk to our staff here today. Bringing it all together. It's that synergy, a diverse local economy, supporting new and innovative businesses, and coming up with creative ways of doing business as a city that keeps Tempe moving forward. It's that synergy that keeps us on our toes to make sure we're doing what we need to ensure that Tempe is strong and resilient. So we've covered a lot of ground today, this morning, talking about investing in our sustainability, getting involved in everything that's happening in our community, and coming up with innovative solutions and ideas for an ever-evolving city. And this brings me to our last challenge. I'd like us all to open our hearts and our minds of being inspired by everyone here, inspired by the great work that's happening in our community every day. I'd like all of us to consider taking that inspiration and putting it to use by implementing some of the ideas that you're going to be hearing about shortly in our own neighborhoods to help grow a program from a pilot program to something that really benefits our community for years to come. We'll be hearing about everything from chicken coops to art in neighborhoods. So there is a wide spectrum of topics to bring you your personal inspiration. I know personally I'm inspired by all of you every day to continue to make and work to make Tempe the strongest city that it can be, where our kids can get a great education and come home to our beautiful parks that are located practically every square mile throughout the city. And I'm inspired to build an economy with all of you of innovative highway jobs and to help small businesses grow. And all of us here today, I want to thank all of you because it's so important that our kids, that when they're ready to start their careers, that they have those businesses that they can look to, whether it's small or large, or even if it's a startup company. It's so important. So this morning, as we take time to recognize individuals who have been invested, who have innovated and gotten involved in our community, I hope you join me in being inspired to keep Tempe, the great work that our city is doing, strong. I hope all of you will join me in keeping this momentum going forward on this Earth Day in Tempe to build a city that is strong, sustainable, and resilient. Because the change is local, and the time is now. Thank you very much. All right. Now we will begin our awards portion of our event. We'll begin this year with a new award category established in partnership with the Historic Preservation Commission. The award centers on the recognition efforts to preserve the deep history of our city, from some of our city's most historic and iconic buildings to entire neighborhoods. Preservation serves as an important role in our community, and I'm excited to celebrate some of the important work to preserve our history here today. This year, we are excited to present 3 historic preservation awards. Our first one is the rehabilitation of the historic Rose EISENDRATH House provides an excellent example of a successful rehabilitation and activation of an important historic property which has served for decades as a prominent landmark for North Tempe neighborhoods. The project offered an opportunity for collaboration between 2 nonprofit organizations, the Tempe Historic Preservation Foundation and the Rio Salada Foundation, as well as a partnership with the Salt River Project, the Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian Community, and the City of Tempe to program the property, therefore providing for sustainable uses that will ensure its preservation for years to come. Please join us in honoring the Rose EISENDRATH House Historic Rehabilitation with a 2017 Historic Preservation Award. Woody and Kim. Our next award is the Borden Homes neighborhood as an outstanding example of a historic district, distinctly representative of home building and housing development in Tempe in the late 1940s and early 50s. The neighborhood is primarily worthy of a recognition for the actions of the neighbors who sought the listing of the neighborhood in the Tempe Historic Register and the National Register of Historic Places. Local neighbors engaged in a variety of a very complex undertaking, which required them to identify design standards that were generally acceptable to property owners. Please join me in welcoming and honoring the Borden Homes Historic District Design Guidelines with a 2017 Historic Preservation Award. Our next award is the architect, city planner, preservationist, tour guide, speaker, artist, author, our very own Mark Vinson. Mark Vinson was called many things throughout his 30 plus years as he worked for the city of Tempe. It's difficult to summarize the significant impression that Mark has made prior to his recent and well-earned retirement, which included work on notable landmarks projects such as the Elias Rodriguez House Historic Rehabilitation, the Rose EISENDRATH House Historic Rehabilitation, the Laird and Dines Adaptive Reuse, 3 decades of redevelopment in downtown Tempe guidebook. Mark also oversaw the creation of the Historic Preservation Office Ordinance, Plan and Commission, and the city's CLG status, in addition to serving as the first ever Tempe Historic Preservation Officer. A fellow in the American Institute of Architects, Mark's work and legacy extends well beyond the borders of our Tempe community. Mark, you're well deserving as you are already missed here in the city. So please join me in honoring Markitect, Mark Vinson, for the 2017 Historic Preservation Award.
I get the privilege right now to talk about a new added category. This year, that's in partnership with our Sustainability Commission. Are there any Sustainability Commission members here today? Oh, for sure. Oh, come on. If you are, stand up. Thank you for what you do. We're much appreciated. This award highlights people and projects in our city that are setting an example for how we can create a more sustainable and resilient city. This year, we are very excited to present 2 sustainability awards. The first Sustainability Award, I am very proud of the sustainability achievements that the City of Tempe has made, but to be truly sustainable city, we need residents to invest in sustainability themselves. And our very own MEINY VERMAAS new net zero accessory dwelling unit, also known as Granny Flat, is a wonderful example of a sustainable building. This unit meets the needs of their son, an author, Ethan, while also being environmentally friendly. This addition uses sustainable materials in the siding of the walls, LED lights, solar tubes for daylight, 18 solar plant panels, and has a sustainable landscape with rainwater harvesting and mature trees. What a very impressive investment in our city. So congratulations, MEINY. Thank you for all you do.
It's amazing.
As some of you know, I truly believe that Tempe is a destination city. People come through the valley, throughout the valley, state, and country, and the world to enjoy what Tempe has to offer. This award winner has added another important and sustainable destination to the city. Ken and Lee Singh and their team, who are known for their farm on the SRP MIC land, have created a sustainable oasis on the old Rio Salado Golf Course, organically grown trees, a clear fish pond, wonderful local food, and thriving and delicious farmers market is an incredible destination for Tempeans and visitors alike. Ken and Lee are just getting started with building out this wonderful amenity. We are so proud that they have made the sustainability investment in Tempe. So please join me in honoring SINGH Meadows with the 2017 Sustainability Award. He kind of looks like Ken, but not really. Not really. Not really.
Ken and Lee are running SINGH Meadows this morning. They're open from 8 to 2 every Saturday and Sunday, and I'm taking this award to them as soon as we leave this event.
Yes.
The next award category honors residential and commercial properties that enhance the community's appearance and character. Individuals and neighborhood groups have nominated properties and projects that provide an outstanding visual contribution to the city of Tempe. This year, 7 nominations were received for the Property Beautification Awards. Today, we will be recognizing 5 properties with an honorable mention in this category. 1 property with Beautification Award and 1 property with the Golden Shovel Award, which represents the highest level of exterior enhancement and beautification efforts. The GRUCKY home was previously a rental with overgrown weeds, filling the gravel front yard. Over many months, these new owners have come in and created a beautiful and inviting front yard. Alameda Meadows neighborhood is proud to have residents to put so much personal pride and effort into the property. Please join me in presenting Arthur GRUCKY with the Property Beautification Honorable Mention. The McLeans turned a simple house into a beautiful addition to the Meyer Park neighborhood by completely redoing their entire front yard. They added grass, pavers, flowers, and lighting. As it turned out, amazing. Please join me in presenting Chad and Carrie McLean with the Property Beautification Honorable Mention. Well, that's,
That might be Corral 47.
the homeowners made a significant front yard improvements over this last year. An outdoor seating area, decomposed granite, decorative flagstones, walkways to the front entry, a variety of new plants and lush grass accompanied by a desert xeriscape zone. It can be challenging to make a typical home exterior unique, special, and inviting. This home looks especially welcoming, and it is a bright spot in the Pecan Grove neighborhood. Please join me in honoring LORIE Hawley with a Property Beautification Honorable Mention. This next award, this front yard has always been well kept. The new front patio added just last year is attractive and inviting. Tina and LORIE maintain their neighborhood character carefully, matching block work and a board and a broughton wood construction. Their home is a nice enhancement to the Papico Park View neighborhood area. Please join me in honoring Tina HUDAK and LORIE LOTT with their Property Beautification Honorable Mention. The BORJON residence, located in the Mitchell Park neighborhood, stands out among some of the new larger homes that have replaced some of the original homes. This house is sensitive to the unique neighborhood characteristic, mid-century, modern, electric, artistic, and somewhat funky. Its simple roof line and exterior sidings are element commons to the area's older homes. As a result, this house fits in delightfully, and it represents how a quality design can greatly enhance our neighborhood. Please join me in honoring John BORJON with the Property Beautification Honorable Mention. KENDRA SOLLARS was dedicated much of her past year since her 2015 home purchase to soliciting and receiving neighborhood input. By involving others and bringing people together to make her new home her dream home, the house quickly became something that brought people together from within the Mitchell Park neighborhood and with surrounding neighborhoods. New friendships were created. A beautiful house emerged thanks to the inspiration of KENDRA. Please join me in honoring KENDRA SOLLARS with a Property Beautification Award. Our next award is our Golden Shovel winner. The home has been owned by Chris Coleman for the last 8 years. Chris and his dad asked a landscape architect friend for a design, and they went to work. It looks easy, but there were mounds of dirt to move, rocks to be hauled in and placed, and concrete to be poured, and a wall to be built. The result is a simple design that fits with the house and the Mitchell Park neighborhood. Please join me in honoring Chris Coleman with the Golden Shovel Property Beautification Award.
All right, the Alley Upkeep Awards. This year, 3 nominations were received for the Alley Upkeep Award. 2 will be recognized with honorable mention, and 1 will be recognized with a golden rake, not a shovel, but a rake, in this category. So the first honorable mention goes to Tempe Gardens HOA Alley. For the past year and a half, Solid Waste Inspector Javier Saucedo Sr. has worked collaboratively with Tempe Gardens HOA, Board Member Diana Stover, and Community Property Manager Robert Helms to increase resident awareness about their responsibilities and improve conditions in the alley adjacent to the Tempe Gardens HOA. This same alley serves as an entry point to this community. The sustained attention and cleanup efforts have been paying off. Early bulk trash putouts are at an all-time low. Please join me in honoring Tempe Gardens HOA residents with an alley upkeep honorable mention. And the second honorable mention, oh, wait, there she is, right there. Funny. All right, our second honorable mention today is WICKELL Alley. Mike and Joyce always keep their alley clean and clear. Recently, they helped a neighbor who received a citation and needed assistance with some palm trees that had taken root in the alley area. I know some of us have experienced that too. Mike and Joyce went above and beyond to assist with getting the job done. They helped their neighbor through the process and have proven to be great leaders for their neighborhood. So please join me in honoring Mike and Joyce with an alley upkeep honorable mention. Now for the Golden Rake Award. The Golden Rake Award goes to, I gotta get this right, South Elm and South Juniper and East Gemini and East Libra Alley. Nominated by Riley DeGroot, the solid waste equipment operator who used to service the alley, mentioned that these property owners have consistently and meticulously taken pride in maintaining their alley without being prompted. The alley adjacent to these properties is free of weeds and debris, and the trees are properly maintained to allow for safe collection. These residents exemplify what it means to take ownership of the alley and have truly, positively made an impact on their neighborhood. So please join me in presenting residents adjacent to South Elm and South Juniper and East Gemini and East Libra Alley with the Golden Rake Award. Come on up.
That's a big area.
There's not somebody here. Come on. You know what? I'm going to take that rake home.
That's the case, I can use that.
Yeah, I probably need to use it.
Our next awards is the Neighbor of the Year. The Tempe City Council created Neighbor of the Year Awards in 1995 and dedicated them in the honor of contributions in the memory of Chuck Malpeat. Each honoree receiving these awards carries one of the same traditions, of the same commitments to improving and maintaining the highest quality of life in Tempe neighborhoods that Chuck did. Chuck Malpeat, a little bit about his background. He was a high school teacher at Tempe High. He lived in the Maple Ash neighborhood. Chuck believed in positive problem solving, proactive planning, and neighborhood organizing. He understood the dynamics of change and conflict resolution, and he was one of my dad's best friends and was a big part of my childhood growing up. So this award is very sentimental to me personally. Everything that Chuck has done over the years has resulted in the city of Tempe becoming one of the first cities to create neighborhood associations. And this year, 8 nominations were received for the Neighbor of the Year awards. We will be recognizing 6 with an honorable mention in this category, and 1 individual with the Neighbor of the Year award, and 1 individual with the Chuck Malpeat Neighbor of the Year award for outstanding service over a sustained period of time. The first honorable mentions are multiple nominators included the HOA board and Sergeant Damon Despain of the Tempe Police Department Mounted Unit. The police of this equestrian-friendly neighborhood have made multiple positive contributions to the community through the use of neighborhood arena and a park to support local 4-H groups, the Girl Scout troops, sports teams, and the Tempe Police Department Mounted Unit. The neighborhood makes a concerted effort to reach out to encourage interaction between each other and the neighborhood and the police department. Please join me in celebrating the Buena Vista Ranchos residents as they are the honorable mention and Neighbor of the Year. Let's welcome them. Buena Vista, any residents here? Our next award, MARIAM is known for her helping every neighbor that comes to her and caring deeply about the safety and well-being of her neighborhood and Dwight Park. She's not afraid to find the right people to talk to make her neighborhood and the neighborhood stronger. MARIAM is she's very committed to her community and always looking to help people in her community and especially those in need. So please join me in celebrating Maria EPHRAIM as the honorable mention Neighbor of the Year. My understanding is she is sick, so thank you for the round of applause. We're going to send it to her. Our next award is for more than 10 years, Stacy and Brett have been involved in the community, neighborhood, schools, and local business-related issues. Stacy and Brett regularly attend the University Park neighborhood meetings and are engaged in the work to make our community a safe and beautiful place to live. For example, they worked on the George Ditch tree planting and replacements, creating and coordinating and hosting a one-of-a-kind neighborhood event called the Ditchmans, which is Christmas by the Ditch, and supporting efforts for the no-whistle zone around College Avenue. Please join me in celebrating Stacy and Brett Giles as an honorable mention for Neighbor of the Year. Our next award is Optimist Park Neighborhood Association, has thrived under Ian Johnson's lead. Ian Johnson's lead. Ian has helped to activate all 4 quadrants of Optimist Park and also spearheaded the grant process in 2016, which helped to add trees, grills, picnic tables, and garbage receptacles. Ian is dedicated to his community. Ian couldn't join us here today, but please join me in celebrating Ian Johnson as the honorable mention and Neighbor of the Year. For the past 11 years, Freddie and his family have organized the Buena Vista Rancheros Adventure Race. This annual event involves around 100 families from his neighborhood. The race is an obstacle course where kids from grades 2 through 8 work together on teams of 3 and 4 to complete 8 different mental and physical challenges in a positive and fun way. Freddie can't make it here today, but please still join us in celebrating Freddie Schindler as an honorable mention Neighbor of the Year. Our next award is about 3 years ago, Ron and Judy created a working group called Tempe Neighborhoods Together, or simply TNT. Their leadership, vision, and commitment to excellence produced a vibrant team of Tempe neighborhood leaders who have expressed determination to make Tempe the best place to live in Arizona. Please join me in celebrating Ron and Judy Tapscott as an honorable mention Neighbor of the Year.
Congratulations, Sam. Well deserved.
Our next award is the Neighbor of the Year Award winner. Over the last 2 years, countless volunteer hours, grant assistance, and neighborhood contributions to the Clark Park Garden and Farmers Market Committee, which is Barbara Lloyd, Jay and Teresa Robinette, Ken Perron, Frank Quijada, and Valerie Ramos, have transformed the vacant pool space in Clark Park neighborhood into a beautiful, thriving community garden where you can rent your own garden beds or help in the community plots that feed those in need. Neighbors and people from across the entire city now enjoy a new relationship with this space through gardening and bustling, energetic Saturday morning farmers market. The Clark Park Garden and Farmers Market Committee provided a model of how a small group of people can transform an unused public space into a vibrant neighborhood meeting space where the whole community can help build an even healthier future for our city. Please join me in celebrating the Clark Park Garden and Farmers Market as Neighbor of the Year Award winner.
Thank you, everyone. And just so you know, the market is on today. We're heading back there. And we're doing a special Earth Day festival today with the ASU School of Sustainability. So if you have a chance to stop by, the market's open till noon, and this festival is on till 2. Thank you. 1730 South Roosevelt. So we're on Roosevelt, just north of Broadway. Thank you.
Our next award is a Chuck Malpeat Neighbor of the Year Award winner. Justin's heart is in Mitchell neighborhood. 5 years ago, Justin started serving on the Mitchell Park Neighborhood Association board. 3 years later, he became the chair. Justin has worked tirelessly as an advocate for the Mitchell Park Neighborhood Association. Justin has led the effort to bring a skate park to Mitchell Park with the assistance of the MARIAM Corridor Neighborhood Grant. Justin has led neighborhood fund and food drives in support of homeless youth and pet shelters. He is a champion of the local neighborhood events and always lends a helping hand. Justin tries to get everyone involved and always talks about how neighbors can pitch in to improve the neighborhood. He is an avid musician, gardener, and chef. Please join me in celebrating Justin Stewart as the Chuck Malpeat Neighbor of the Year Award. Wow. What an incredible group of individuals and organizations that we have recognized this morning. We're so proud of all the work you have done to help make Tempe the unique and thriving city that it is. Thank you so much again. Let's give them another round of applause.